Hey everyone, it's Professor Clark. In this lecture, we are going to discuss some uses of the instrumental without prepositions. So in the previous lecture, we learned some uses of the instrumental with prepositions as a way to indicate location. And in this lecture, we're going to learn some uses of the instrumental without any prepositions. The first use of the instrumental is to indicate instrument. That is to say, we use the instrumental to indicate the instrument or the tool we use to do something or the manner in which we do something. And we don't use any kind of a preposition. So in English, a lot of times we would say, I do something with something to indicate the same meaning. But in Russian, you don't use the preposition with, you just use the instrumental case. Some examples would be ем салат вилкой. I eat salad with a fork. Ем пиццу руками. I eat pizza with my hands. Пишу карандашом. I write with a pencil. Колю дрова топором. I split wood with an axe. Брею бритвой. I shave with a razor. The next use of the instrumental is to indicate being, becoming, and appearing. And so, for example, we often use it with the verb быть, and we are going to go over that in more detail later. But when we say that we are something, we're being something, we often use the instrumental. So, for example, я хочу быть юристом. I want to be a lawyer. The word lawyer is in the instrumental. We also always use it with the verb становиться or стать, to become. So anytime something becomes something, whatever it becomes is in the instrumental. So, после университета я стану врачом. After university, I will become a doctor. Anytime something becomes something, anytime we use the verb становиться or стать, we must use the instrumental. Являться is sort of to appear or to be. It's a fancier way of saying is. So you will often hear it in more formal Russian, and it also always takes the instrumental. So, for instance, русский язык является официальным языком. The Russian language is an official language of Russia, for example, or some other country. And you're not going to have to use являться very much in spoken casual speech, but be aware that it is out there and used very commonly in written speech or written Russian. And then finally, and this is not in the textbook, but I think it's important to know, to seem or appear to be something also takes the instrumental. And so we have the verb казаться, показаться, to seem, and that always takes the instrumental. Whatever you seem to be is in the instrumental. So for instance, мне это показалось хорошей идеей. It seemed like a good idea to me. So хорошей идеей. A good idea is in the instrumental because it seemed like a good idea. It wasn't a good idea, it just seemed like a good idea. Another use of the instrumental is to indicate profession. When we use the verb работать, to work, plus the instrumental of a certain profession, it literally means to work as, and is used to indicate your profession. So you could ask, for instance, кем работают ваши родители? As whom do your parents work, literally, but it means what do your parents do? What are your parents' jobs? You could say, for instance, мать работает юристом, а отец работает врачом. My mother is a lawyer and my father is a doctor. Or, после университета я хочу работать учителем. After college, I want to work as a teacher. Finally, there are just some other verbs that take the instrumental case, and you just have to learn them on a verb-by-verb basis. Some of the most important are заниматься, which is to do or to study or to occupy yourself with. So you can say, я занимаюсь спортом. Literally, like, I do sports, but it can also mean, like, I work out, or I do sports, I'm a sports person. Я занимаюсь спортом. Or, я занимаюсь историей. I study history. And remember that заниматься without an object just means to study or do your homework. And then if you want to indicate the specific topic that you're studying, you can put it in the instrumental and it will mean I study history, I study literature, I study math, whatever. And then the verb интересоваться or заинтересоваться, to be interested in, also takes the instrumental. For instance, я интересуюсь китайской культурой. I'm interested in Chinese culture. Он вдруг заинтересовался историей кино. He suddenly became interested in the history of cinema. And note the use of the perfective to indicate inception. He suddenly became interested in the history of cinema, as opposed to the imperfective to show a long-running process with no specific beginning or end. Я интересуюсь китайской культурой. I'm interested in Chinese culture. There's no indication of inception or completion. Some other verbs that take the instrumental that are good to know are пользоваться, to use, любоваться, to admire, and наслаждаться, to enjoy. For instance, я пользуюсь компьютером. I use a computer. Я любуюсь прекрасным видом. I'm admiring the beautiful view. Я наслаждаюсь жизнью. I'm enjoying my life. So that is it for our overview of the instrumental without prepositions. I hope you found that helpful, and in the next lecture we are going to take a more in-depth look at the verb быть.